Hey.
Hey, welcome back. It's
Oh,
me, Rafa, and I'm joined here by good pal Miguel. We're
hello.
back again after our inexplicable 7 month hiatus.
Uh-huh.
Not really a break from working on the game, but definitely a break from making these development logs.
Yep, so we've actually been working on the game during that entire hiatus, for those who've been keeping track. And we got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah,
So,
there comes a certain time in your life where you got to make important choices. Whether to start a family or focus on your own career, whether get a mortgage or refinance, and sometimes that kind of choice is: should I go to this cool water-based area or go to this cool airship? Those are important life decisions that people commonly make.
I have no idea what he was talking about. Yep, and that's exactly what we did. We gave the players a choice, as you should when it comes to a Metroidvania. But basically, you have a choice, like after getting a certain power up, where you can go. But also, that's actually just what we were able to work on, during our hiatus. So we actually
Yeah.
call
So,
this the water gun update because you got two
and why
choices.
is that?
You can go to the place with
Why
the
is
water,
that?
or you can go to the place with the guns, the water guns.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So we're going to be showing off two unique stages right now. We'll give you a taste of the flavor, the lore, the mechanics of them, maybe a sneak peek at some of the bosses. And we'll kind of talk about the design philosophy that went into designing each of these.
Yeah. So here's the aqueducts. Well, yeah, there it is. That's what it looks like.
Okay, I think we just drop in a few frames of the aqueducts here. Just let them really dig it in.
Yeah, look at that. That's it's hot looking aqueducts. You know,
One
got
thing
the
you might be noticing right off the bat here is that this is one of the biggest areas in the game so far, one of the biggest single screen areas in the game. So you go vertical, you go horizontal, the different layers, you're weaving in and out of the central area. And that was a very intentional decision because we wanted this to look and play a little different from what you've seen so far.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more on the more on the traditional Metroidvania side where you're really just hopping between rooms trying to progress. But of course there's a lot of options to explore. We don't want it to feel too linear after all. But there is a path that you should go through. And along the way, we what we did was we introduced like different enemies along the way while you're progressing. So it actually gets harder and harder because the complexity increases the closer you get to where you're supposed to go.
Right, and speaking of the enemies, Miguel, maybe you want to give a little background on who exactly these watery boys are.
Yeah, so we don't want to spoil too much of the lore because, as we said, it's a big part of the fun is really figuring things out. But yeah, these are a bunch of water dudes, made of water, actually. And when you kill them, they go back into the water. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's all you're getting about the lore.
Yeah,
That's all
but
you're getting.
yeah, there's some kind of soldier people.
Yeah, the story here is that they've sort of taken over this, let's call it a place of power, right? This ancient aqueduct area, and there's a very powerful artifact at the center of this location, which their faction is guarding. So you have these sort of soldiers, not quite undead army, rather not living, not dead army, who have just become water. They've traded their humanity for eternal life to become water boys.
You know what they say, yeah, you never step into the same river twice. It's the same with these guys. And I think that's enough with the aqueducts without giving too much. So let's move on to the next place over here.
Oh, but before that though, let's drop in. Can we just drop in like a sneak peek of the boss?
Yeah,
Bada boom. Okay, that's all you're gonna get to see. That's all you're gonna get to see.
So yeah, here in the next area, we actually have the airship.
Yeah, if you guys have been maybe watching some of our previous gameplay trailers or devlogs, like you will notice that there are these annoying green cloaked fellows that do show up around the world. And this is sort of their base of operations we have here. You will encounter some puzzle style areas where you need to deactivate lasers in a certain way to proceed. There's some more traditional platforming puzzles, and they're just straight up combat rooms where we'll just throw a moving laser at you just to spice it up.
Yeah, so you really wanted to experiment with what you could do with the lasers and also what you could do with these enemies that you've actually already encountered. but this is actually, since this is their base of operations, we wanted to up the difficulty even more from what you've already experienced so far in this point.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about giving the areas a different sort of feel. And while the Aqueducts is, let's say it's a platforming centric area with a very large central area in particular, what we did with the Airship is that it's actually a series of tiny rooms. Well, not really tiny, but it has multiple smaller branches which you can explore in any order. And the focus of the Airship, or at least one thing we wanted to focus on, is really the combat. So this is the first area in the game, I think, where we have this mechanic where you get locked in a room and you have to stave off waves of these enemies before you can progress. This area is, if you look at the enemy behavior rather, if you look at the Aqueducts, you have a lot of enemies who are melee focused or who are shooting out these large projectiles. What we have in the Airship is that we actually wanted these sort of smaller sized enemies who move very quickly and have a specialization with ranged projectiles. So we wanted to play a little bit different. I think in terms of combat, I would say the enemies here are definitely more challenging, but it is properly balanced out, I think, by the fact that you will probably have some health upgrades over here. You might even have a certain other ability that will help with combat by the time we reach this Airship.
Yeah, so it may look difficult, but we're trusting our players that by the time they get here, they're at least well equipped. Not only like in terms of what items and upgrades they have, but also in terms of the skill that they've been able to develop up to this point.
I mean, of course, if they're completely insane, like we mentioned, the world is pretty open, so you could just probably
go
head
up here.
straight here.
Yeah, just
Pretty
come up
early
here.
in the game.
Go right in. You could go right in anywhere. You don't mind. You know, if you're a god gamer, you could beat
Why
everything.
not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
show us your hitless speedrun video and we will race you a glass.
So we just wanted to give a quick update. Well, I wouldn't say quick, but we wanted to give an update about how the game's going. And yeah, maybe what to expect for the next devlog. I guess you guys can decide. You don't have anything, we'll just show off whatever we have the next time around.
That's right. Well, anyway, if you enjoy what you're seeing, do hit that subscribe button. And maybe we'll launch a Discord one day, who knows? But yeah, if you have any ideas for the game, if you have any questions about the process or the thinking behind it, we'd love to have that conversation.
Yeah, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, get ruined.
Get ruined.
That's it. That's a devlog.